For those of you that are new here, my name is Mills Bender. I'm the founder and CEO of Mills Knows Bills. This year of 2023, we've decided to take a whole new thematic approach, both internally and externally with you all. Our theme for the year, well, wrong side, brick by brick. And this point of this entire year is to slowly build your financial literacy and confidence so you can power through 2023 as a completely new person. You want to make sure that you follow us because every month we're going to be posting new videos. So subscribe, hit the bell notification, put on notifications, all of that fun stuff to make sure that you don't miss out on any fun content. If you also want to make sure that you snag some extra freebies throughout the month, you can follow us on Instagram at Mills Knows Bills. This week, we are going to be talking about financial scarcity and how to improve your financial scarcity mindset into one that is focused on abundance. Let's get started. Before we dive into how to overcome your financial scarcity, do you even have it? Here are 7 ways for you to know if you have a financial scarcity mindset. Number 1, are you constantly thinking about your debt or trying to make ends meet? Number 2, are you scared of using your emergency fund for true emergencies? Number 3, do your goals suck? Or maybe you just don't set them at all because you feel like you can't achieve them? Number 4, maybe you avoid money altogether. Investing, looking at your bank statements, looking at your credit card statements, out of sight, out of mind. Number 5, you're afraid of spending money. Yes, spending money can be an indication of financial scarcity if you feel like once you spend that money, it's never going to come back. Number 6, you constantly compare yourself to others. You look at what other people have or what other people are doing, and you feel like that's only a them thing. You feel like you can't get there. And last but not least, number 7, you feel like you're not smart enough or capable enough to take control of your financial future. If you answered yes or maybe to any of these different questions, you have some financial scarcity that you get to work on. We all struggle with different components of these throughout our financial journey. So having a struggle in one or many of these areas does not mean that you're a bad person. Does not mean that you can't do it. Lord knows that I've struggled with my fair share of these. And there are times where I still have moments that come up in any of these capacities. But you know what? That's why it's called a financial journey. It's not a one and done sprint. It's a marathon that you get to learn through, you get to work on, and you get to improve upon. So speaking of you get to learn how to overcome your financial scarcity. Let's go. The first step of rebuilding your mindset and moving away from one that is of scarcity is to level the ground before you start building your financial foundation. Leveling the ground in this capacity is starting to shift from scarcity to abundance. And all that is slowly starting to change your perspective. The first thing I want to say before I kind of go into these different examples here is that this is something that you will be working on for a long time. Give yourself some grace. You're gonna mess up sometimes, and that's all right. So the first thing is to frame your mindset and retrain your mind. We as humans like to prove ourselves right. So if I say to you, hey, I'm going to earn $100,000 by the end of the year, I'm gonna do everything in my power to prove myself right to you. In the same way, if I say something negative, like I'm not capable enough to work on my finances, I'm still going to try to prove myself right. We always want to be right. So why not be right about something positive, even if you don't 100% believe it yet? It's the typical fake it till you make it, or in a more positive way, believe it until you achieve it. Reframe your mindset. Start talking about yourself in a positive way, either with yourself or with others. The next thing you can do is list all of your wins. As you start your financial journey and progress through it, list every single win, large or small. Hey, I looked at my bank statement today. Write it down. Give yourself a sticker. Treat yourself in a way that does not financially set you back. But listing those wins will keep you happy in that regard. The next thing you can do is just practice being grateful. Look at what you do have. I'm so blessed to have a roof over my head. I'm so blessed to have food in my belly. Listing those grateful wins allows you to approach your financial progress in a way that doesn't feel as much pressure. The next thing you can do is to start talking about I get to rather than I have to. You might have noticed me saying you get to, insert whatever here, earlier in this video. Start practicing that yourself. I get to look at my bank statement. I get to pay my credit card bill. I get to learn how to invest. I get to challenge myself. You don't have to do anything. If you wanted to stay in your current financial position, no one's forcing you to change. But you're watching this video because you want to change. So you get to learn something new. And lastly, as you go throughout your financial journey, I say this all the time, there's going to come a situation where you need to choose where you spend your money. Are you going to spend it on dining out, or are you going to set it aside for that house down payment that you've always wanted to do? It's not that you can't afford dining out. It's that it's not your priority. Instead, you get to save that money for your future self instead. Practicing all these different pieces, making sure that you talk to yourself in a positive way. I get to rather than I have to. It's my priority rather than I can't afford it. Listing your wins and constantly being grateful are amazing ways to start moving towards an abundance mindset. Another way that you can move towards an abundance mindset is rather than getting jealous when you see your counterparts earning their financial goals, celebrate their wins. Be grateful with them because that's really exciting. Ask them how they got there. Ask them the steps that they took. Be open and honest with that communication because money is only taboo if you make it, number one. And number two, the more you celebrate those wins, the more that you realize you can achieve those wins as well. However, moving away from financial scarcity is more than just the mindset. I like to tack on a tangible part of moving away from financial scarcity as well. So that's what we're going to talk about next. Let's talk about some tangible steps that we can take. When it comes to improving your financial scarcity mindset, you need to start working on your financial literacy. You need to identify the areas of your life that you feel like you need to work on a little bit more and slowly start taking steps in that capacity. When it comes to financial literacy, there are two things that I want you to keep in mind. Number one, have a realistic approach. And number two, be consistent. I'm going to give you two different analogies for both of these. The realistic approach, I want you to think of a belt. When it comes to establishing a money plan or budget for your finances, think of that as a belt. When you put your belt on for the first time, it's brand new. Sometimes you find that belt loop that's just a little too tight. It's hard to breathe. It's a little uncomfortable. If you were to leave the belt loop there, eventually, maybe a little bit down the road, but eventually that belt buckle might pop. Your pants fall down. It's not working or doing its job. In this capacity, think of a too tight belt as a too restrictive budget. You're squeezing out every penny right now and putting it for your financial future, but you feel the pain of that today. It's too painful. Eventually, you give in to one of your financial kryptonites, and because you give in a little bit, it's easy to just let the whole thing go. Well, I messed up by $5, so it's might as well just throw the whole thing out the window. the money plan or budget is not doing its job. On the other end of the spectrum, maybe you put that new belt on and you put it through a loop that's too loose. You got a little too much wiggle room in there. Your pants fall down pretty much immediately and it's not working. That is the scenario when you have too much right now and you're not putting enough for your financial future. You're living too much in the moment. Just as you need to find the perfect belt loop for your body, you need to find the perfect budget for your personality, your finances, your goals. In the same way though, just as our bodies change, we lose weight, we gain weight, we have to adjust that belt loop. As different things occur in our lives, we lose our job, we start a side hustle, we find a new job, we pay off that credit card, whatever it may be, your budget or money plan gets to change as well. So, like I said, the first step for financial literacy is to have a realistic approach to your finances. Establish a budget or money plan that aligns with your goals, gives you just enough discipline for the present, but allows you to set yourself up for future success. The other part is consistency. View this as working out. If I were to ask you what's more effective, going to the gym for 30 minutes every day for 30 days straight, or working out one day a month for 24 hours straight? Going to the gym for 30 days for 30 minutes at a time has better, longer lasting impact. You don't need to do something crazy with a ton of money right now. You get to make small changes over time, and those small changes have a longer lasting impact. Maybe that's establishing a budget for the first time. Maybe then it's working towards building an emergency fund. Oh, something happens, you have to use some of that emergency fund. Or should I say you get to use some of that emergency fund. You get to make payments towards your credit card. The idea here is to be consistent. The next thing that you can do, and this is moving beyond just the start of your financial literacy, is you get to work with a pro. You get to follow us on YouTube, follow us on Instagram, attend our webinars, maybe purchase one of our courses to learn about investing or purchasing a home or making sure that you make the most of those finances. Financial literacy is not just your necessity, it's your right. You get to do that for yourself. If you walk away with one thing from this video, I want you to walk away with grace. This is not a perfect journey. It isn't for any of us. So when you make mistakes, give yourself grace that you're making smaller improvements each and every time. If you'd like to reach out to us with any questions, you can email us at info@millsknowsbills.com. You can also check out our website, millsknowsbills.com, for additional resources. I hope to see you around.